Is that what I should do?
Live.
I think we're live. I think we are live.
Mm.
What a shoddily run organization I have, huh?
I noticed that our friend Tobin has lighting.
He has backlighting, very dramatic.
Yeah, and I see some smoke.
That is steam off of a nice hot cup of coffee.
No, that's good.
Okay,
That's
I
good.
didn't think you were a smoker. You struck me as a sort of granola bar guy who wouldn't be smoking.
Sorry, my phone's on.
Okay. Well,
Excuse me.
in Tobin's defense, I always thought of Tobin as a smoker, just not in the smoking kind of manner, But maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
I mean, maybe, I mean, but don't incriminate yourself, Tobin. That's the important thing. We don't,
Mm-hmm.
I'll come out and say it. I like to toke some weed. I will,
Mm.
but it's becoming like less a part of like something that I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with cigarettes too. Like I don't even smoke my first cigarette until like the afternoon most of the time.
No, that's good. That's good.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
The strange news. Apparently, America's inflation rate is at 7.5% on an annualized basis.
Yeah.
I hope it's just the result of all the pent-up spending that was not going on during the COVID lockdown is the result.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that people don't know, and that they're making. There's a lot of hypotheticals going around, like, oh, we just gave people too much money during the pandemic. It's like, is that the case?
Yeah.
Or is it, a supply line kind of issue, that there is all this pent up demand, and the supply lines are all jammed up and have been jammed up for the last couple of years, and it looks like that's not gonna stop anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult to. I think it's a leap to say that it was definitely the stimulus bills, the stimulus checks that people got.
Yeah, I in my mind's eye, I think, what if you went without a dishwasher or washing machine for 7 months, and you've got a lot of kids. You're going to want that machine, and you're going to want it now.
Now, I would counter that with saying that you would have a dishwasher because you have kids. Now, it might be a shitty dishwasher, right? Don't get me wrong. There would have to be, and let me retract that. Whenever my kids did the dishes, they're great and everything. Don't get me wrong. And this might be a reflection more on me, is that I found I had to do a check. I had to do a spot check to make sure that things were okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But checking would not involve inflation.
It would not involve inflation.
No.
You're correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People did all that spending. They wanted that backyard pool in the big house, and they bought all that stuff. They got their motorcycles and their four-wheeler, and then times, they weren't making all that money. And the next thing you know, you're going down to Cabo or down to the Keys looking for cocaine to bring back to America to sell to people. And then you can't find any. So the Homeland Security will dig you up some and then make it look like you were the one who brought the cocaine over, and then they arrest you and they seize all your assets, and then you're just an ass sitting in jail now.
Wow, I love the spoken word riff you just did. That was really good.
Yes.
Yeah, that asset with your ass in jail. Very nice. That's good how you ended that. I like that.
Wow, that was. Yeah.
Could you make that into a song? Maybe it would be a good rap.
I might have just gave you a short summary of a movie I saw last night.
Oh, okay.
Hey, whatever inspires you. I still want to hear that rap or the song.
Yeah.
You've got your ass in jail. Da, 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 da.
Right.
Your assets have been seized. Da, 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 da. I don't know.
So the show that I'm going to be doing on the Promethean I've never. I mean, I consider Kyle, one of the writers over on Only Sky, to be a friend. But I've never met him in person or anything, and so I'm just wondering if we're both. I think we're still on the whole. I think that we're on the same page, but there's always a chance that things go horribly sideways between the host, Eric Murphy, myself, and Kyle. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Who is Kyle again?
Kyle is Kyle Morrison. He writes on he writes comedy on Only Sky, on the Only Joking page, and he's incredibly talented, underrated guy. And I've been friendly with him for years at this point. And when I got the section editor job over at Only Sky for the comedy section, I immediately tapped him, and because I knew he could produce like incredible comedy, and he's incredible. Yeah.
Okay, well, I will go check him out. And by the way, I will check again to see if I'm getting any emails from Only Sky, so you get some feedback.
Yes. So on the weekends when I'm not doing the show and working, I have more time to catch up on that crap. So I do most of my writing. I'm looking forward to it too, Jenna. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to use the show as an opportunity to try out some new bits, though I have been thinking about it, and they may find their way in there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And so who we should really feel sorry for is my girlfriend, and about how she has to tolerate me. I was taking a shower, she was in the bathroom, and I'm like, why isn't there? And I'm sorry for this, and I'm not going to be doing this kind of stuff on the show on Saturday. Like, why isn't there crack soap? If you have like butt crack soap, if you have face soap, if you have hand soap, why isn't there butt crack soap? And she goes, really, Andy? It's like,
that does make sense, though. I mean, do you want to use the bar of soap that you just stuck down your ass crack? I mean,
yeah, you should have like specific soap. So I just want to say that I just create a lot of stupid things. And I can only use like maybe the top of the iceberg here, and underneath the iceberg are things like butt crack soap, which would be called crack, by the way. It would just be like, it would be a bar of soap, and it would just have crack on it. So that was today's little inspirational comedic story from Andy Hall.
I guess you would want butt crack soap to be a very specific color, because you wouldn't want it to appear to be dirty, but you would want it to be a color so that it could hide if it was dirty.
It's a very, you might be surprised at this, Big Zeb, but I really haven't thought it all the way through, besides butt crack soap and the name of the soap, crack. So yeah.
Well, the details may lie where the humor lies.
And that's where I believe the devil is, and that's in the detail right there. The devil and the magic right there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you guys got it. So I saw a friend of mine who's also an atheist yesterday, who's might have Parkinson's. That's why I wasn't here on the show. And I'm not telling tales out of school because I'm not giving his name or anything like that. But he's an atheist. I'm an atheist. And I've known the guy since high school, to tell you the truth. So that's a long time, as you can guess, everyone. So we had a good hour and a half talk. I haven't seen him since before the apocalypse started, so it's been a number of years. We talked over the phone and everything. But a heavy conversation. What's that, Zip?
I was saying that's so difficult. I as well as you can expect.
Yeah,
I had a difficult situation where I was being interviewed by a healthcare specialist at at a facility near me,
Hmm.
and she was showing me a calendar because I could check in on when certain events were happening. And I
Mhm.
read it and I said, Dancing with Parkinson's? There was a class for that.
Mhm.
And she said, yes. And I said, well, I guess they already know how to do jazz hands.
I guess so. I guess.
And she did not laugh at all. Like there was absolutely no crack. Jokes about diseases.
You know, it's a after having done comedy live and on stage and in this space as well as writing it out. There
Mhm.
are once again, there are many jokes I think about that never come to light because they're just wrong. Or they just don't fit the room. They're just not right for the
Mhm.
room, right? Um, like butt crack soap, and which the girlfriend, who happens to be here. I just joined and you started talking about butt crack soap.
Yes. Well, maybe butt crack soap will be a thing. You know.
If it isn't
Um,
already, I haven't done a Google search for butt crack soap, because it's just a joke basically for
yeah.
me.
And
But
my jazz hands joke made Tobin smile. So that's one person out there.
the thing, I mean, for me at least, and everyone has me because for my stand up, for the show, for this space, for the blog, I say and write horrible things, right?
Mm.
I make jokes and say bad things a lot of the times, but I always try to be on what I consider at least to be the right side of the line, right? So if I'm going
Mm.
to say something horrible about someone, then um, it's going to be about oligarchs or Putin or Trump or Hitler or something like that. That's where I spend most. As you could tell, everyone, that's
Mhm.
no surprise that's where I spend most of my energies. That
I
and
think
butt.
comedians though should we should approach them with understanding when we ask them to be edgy and to dance right next to the abyss. If they
Yeah,
make a mistake,
yeah,
like you should not have joked about that.
yeah.
Oh, thank you, Jenna. You're awesome. I think we should be very forgiving
Oh yeah.
uh, instead of wanting them pilloried.
Well, there's a difference, right? There's a difference between what you just did and let's say what Dave Chappelle does, right?
Mm.
There's a lot of difference between those two categories of behaviors. Yeah, yeah.
I found the Dave Chappelle thing kind of odd. Oh, thank you, the girlfriend. I found Dave Chappelle kind of odd because apparently he's been in a relationship with a trans woman, and yet he made sort of jokes about trans women,
Well,
which I'm not familiar with the jokes. I just know that people took offense.
yeah. Well, I saw the special. I've seen all of his specials because he's despite the issues I have with him, he is incredibly talented. And of course, I didn't
Mhm.
have to spend anything besides my regular Netflix or the Netflix amount that I spend for the streaming service. Um, but yeah, I don't know. From what he said in his special, he hired someone who was in the trans community. Wouldn't call them a friend, though he implied he was a friend. And and that and this is my synopsis of the situation is that because he did that, he could say whatever he wanted about the community. Um, and he is a funny guy. I mean, and when you and there's no doubt about it is that he is one of the most skilled people on stage right now.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, it's just that if I made black jokes, I wouldn't be allowed to do it just because I had a black friend.
right? Well, it's the same thing. Yeah, yeah. And because you're a freaking zebra, come on.
Mhm. I'm half black already.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So those are the kind of the topics we're gonna
Mhm, mhm.
breach tomorrow.
I look forward to it. Let me check. I think it's like 32 hours away. Live in 32 hours.
32 hours. Be over there, wherever there is.
Hey,
That.
let's post that link. I have it right here.
Oh, yeah, you should post the link to it, definitely.
The sorry, I was lost in thought there for a moment. I realized that I promised to do a story about my time in Boston, and then I realized that it's not that interesting. So I did a teaser a couple of episodes ago, and I feel like this is how I get into trouble, you know.
Oh,
And if I hadn't mentioned it right now, no one would be aware that I screwed this up.
So where were you in Boston when this thing happened?
Well, I think it was Boston Common, that lovely green space that's sort of in the middle of the city.
Yep.
I think it's meant to be like a mini Central Park.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting it.
Yes, and it's for those who haven't seen it, imagine a sort of rolling hilly space. Boston is very up and down.
Yeah.
And beautiful trees, wonderfully landscaped. And I was on the edge, sort of on the other side of the street, and I sort of turned to my left, and I saw this guy running with everything he had to run up the street. And like, that's difficult to do. And he was in pretty good shape too, but he was losing it. He wasn't.
Yeah.
And then I saw like these 7 guys who were even bigger than him and beefier running after him. And the guy got on the ground and got under a car, hoping to escape an attack, figuring they could only hurt him so badly.
See, now that's, I think, a fallacy, but continue, please.
Yes, and I thought insanely dangerous, because all you have to do is jump up on the car and crush him.
Yeah, it would.
So, yes, it's extremely, the whole thing is just nothing but danger.
What time of day did this occur on?
Yeah.
What time of day did that occur?
In the middle of the day.
No, in the middle of the day. It wasn't even at nighttime. It was just in the middle of the day.
These guys were angry. So anyway, I realized I was about to say the F word. Got to do something, but what? Right. And I look around frantically, and what do you know? There's a police car standing sort of like just parked across on the edge of Boston Common on the sidewalk. Yep. So I jump up and down and sort of wave my hands in the air, and one of the cops sees me, and I point at them and then point at them to go down the street. They weren't. I was in eye line of both, but the cops weren't. And thus I can say I heroically saved someone's life.
Oh, that's good. Congratulations.
But I didn't actually save anyone. I just asked the police to do it for me.
Well, that's what they're there for.
Yes.
They're not meant to shoot people in the back 7 times. They're there to actually do things like that, like break up fights.
I hope so. Also, with the primitive guys who like to go around beating people up, whether they're at bars or a dispute over drugs, if the police just appear, then they all have the excuse, oh, the cops are here, we got to back down. Everybody understands that. They wouldn't be allowed to back down otherwise. But for this, they can back down.
The girlfriend points out that guy that was being chased stole their donkeys, which is it is a capital crime in the Commonwealth. That is true, girlfriend.
By donkeys, do you mean Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask too. Yeah.
I guess in Canada that would have been she would have called them Timmies.
Yes, exactly. Is that what they call her? What's up there? Timmies? Or?
Well, actually, we don't call the donuts Timmies. Those are just donuts. But you might say, I'm going to go to Timmy's to get a coffee.
All right.
You might. Also, they have a weird thing. They're called Timbits. You might think of them as donut holes. They're just little round things of dough. And I think they're inappropriate because the founder, Tim Horton, died in a car wreck. So why would you call any product there Tim's Bits or Timbits? I think it's disrespectful.
I see what you did there, Big Zebra.
Thank you. I do what I can, as I often say.
Oh man.
So anyway, that was my Boston story. But another thing is that Boston had an incredible art gallery while I was there, and they had every painting of a haystack that Van Gogh had ever painted. Mm-hmm. And I went in there, and it was amazing. I was surrounded by glowing haystacks, and I loved it. So now it was a show, a temporary show.
Was that over the Museum of Fine Arts at the? Yeah, the MFA, the Museum of Fine Arts, is worth going to.
That's probably. It was near the train station.
There are many train stations, my friends.
Okay, well, it was near a train station.
Gotcha.
I'm on fire today, says the girlfriend. Well, thank you.
You are. It must have been because you had a day off from yesterday, and so you're able to store up the material.
Also I try to be typically a delight. Wherever I go.
Yes. I was thinking about this the other day, and this is another crappy joke, which I'm working on. I was talking to the girlfriend about, is that I want to be everyone's favorite NPC. I want to be everyone's favorite non-player character. So let's face it, most people, when they interact with me, it's for maybe 20 minutes during the day, Monday through Friday, maybe an hour during the show. You don't really know that, I wouldn't consider me to be a player character in your lives. I would be like that little non-player character that you see in the game and does that funny thing and makes you feel a little happier, or gives you some sage advice, or makes a fart, or does farting things with their armpit. I'm that person, and I would like to be your favorite NPC. That's my new life goal.
I can do a fart noise with my hooves. Let me see.
I don't think I've ever. You can definitely see that. Yeah. Well, that's impressive with hooves, my friend.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I thought it would sound like two coconut shells, kind of hitting together.
Right.
Well, you have to use moisturizer on your hooves. You see.
Oh yeah.
Regular moisturizer.
Okay. Yeah, you got to keep it moist, right? Like Jimmy says.
Like Jimmy Lou. That's right.
Yep.
So I think we got some other things planned. I mean, from other, writers over at Only Sky, over on Only Joking. We're going to go and be on some other people's channels and to talk about comedy, just be funny, just hang out and do stuff. Other channels and other podcasts and stuff like that. So you'll see us bopping around.
For our edification, can you tell us, Only Sky, with the comedy section is Only Joking?
That's us. Yeah.
Does it have to be atheist comedy, if you know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
No, so it's any topic.
It's a post-religious site. That's how the master and commanders, my bosses, refer to Only Sky as. So it's not. It's just post-religious. And so, just from a humanistic, secular kind of viewpoint, which most comedy is anyway, to tell you the truth. So, and since being here in the States, targeting the powerful, the affluent, and the stupid, inevitably will get you to riffing on the evangelical industrial center, the edifice there. And so that's my meat and potatoes. The other writers, who are, once again, far more talented than I am, they are much less. They are very good at writing just basic comedy, and I could do that too. Don't get me wrong, but ever since Trump got elected in 2016, I've just been on my I want to drive a stake through the heart of fascism as long, if I can, or do whatever I can for as long as I can. There was a big turnaround for me in my head back in
also
2015.
I don't think Trump was an opportunity for comedians, really, because it's so ridiculous, the reporting itself.
Yeah.
And it isn't funny that you have a fascist trying to ruin democracy.
Yeah. And that's common too for fascists. They are, before they seize power, they are considered buffoonish, laughable, and then it isn't until people start getting put into camps or into shallow graves, or that they're people see them for the monsters that they are.
I have to say, like, the Only Sky, they have such a variety of subjects that they go into, which I think is really cool. And like, I visit the music section, and yeah, they talk about other stuff. It's not just talking about there is no God or whatever.
Right.
It's got some variety.
Yeah. I just got because not only do I do comedy stuff, but I help out finding. I just helped out finding two dedicated science bloggers for the site. And so Dr. Abby Hafer, who was on the Naked Diner podcast before, she wrote a book on evolution, and she has a PhD. She teaches in the Boston area, but she's going to be, it looks like she's going to be blogging for the science section of Only Sky. And one, Daniel Fisk Bennett, who's been on this channel a couple of times, who runs Atheists Against Pseudoscience. The Facebook group has hundreds, I don't know, it's got tons of people on it. He recommended someone to be a science blogger, and so it looks like he's going to be coming on board too. So, yeah. Oh, why? Thank you, John Hudson. Thank you. So, what do you guys got going on this weekend? I'm going to try to go see the Batman movie, I think, on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, there's a new Batman?
Yeah, look at you, Tobin, not knowing there's a new Batman movie out. Yeah, it's with the whatever his name is. I forget his name. The guy who played one of the glittery vampire in the Twilight series. Richard Patterson. Richard Patterson is.
Yes.
And I've heard good things. I've heard good things about it. I've heard horrible things about it. And so now I feel like I need to see it since it's so controversial.
I don't feel I need to see it because I'll just watch some horrible website that is a hack site that streams everything. I know I shouldn't do it, but I feel that I spend enough on streaming websites right now, and and I'm mad at the world because nobody bought my book. So now I'm having a hissy fit. The zebra.
Oh, sure, a zebra fit.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, but there you have it.
Well, there you go. All right,
I was thinking. Oh, sorry, keep going.
Oh no, go ahead. I jumped on you. I jumped on your line.
It's Thursday now. I'm going to try and get BigZebra.com up and running again.
It's Friday, brother. It's Friday. This is Friday.
Well,
we're going into the weekend.
This is the difficulty with me,
Right.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I think on Wednesday I discovered it was Wednesday last Wednesday. It's like, what day is this? What am I doing? And especially since I didn't do the show yesterday, it felt very weekendish for me. But then I had to go to work. John Hudson writes, comedy is hard. It seems like you're going to offend someone somehow, somewhere. Yeah, you just got to insult the right people, right?
Well, also, you have to go into it with the idea that if they don't like it, they can kiss my zebra ass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You got to go into any kind of content creation with two things. One, they can kiss my butt, zebra ass, as you so eloquently said. And so that's one thing. And two, no one's going to hear or care about it or listen to it or recognize it, at least for the very beginning, unless you get really lucky. This is advice that I heard years ago, is that no one's going to care. When you initially start working, no one is going to care.
And you can't worry about the fact that so many people will tell you that you suck.
Yeah, people are going to tell.
If you're in public or on the internet, there will always be someone telling you that you suck.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. Once again, it's just insulting the right people. That's what I shoot for, at least. All right, everyone. Shamala hamala.
Shamala.
Yeah, shamala hamala
Hope to
indeed.
see you on Saturday. If not, I'll see you on Monday, everyone. Take care.
It's been real.
It has.